What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to today's video where I am going to be trying my best. It's a little bit of a projections, but I think for the most part you could take all of these players that I'm about to talk to the bank and project who are going to be some of the most overpowered rookies in this upcoming Madden 20 title. Now, there's going to be two videos. Today's video is just going to be general, the most overpowered rookies. Most of them you guys will be familiar with. A lot of them are first round picks. Let's see. All of them but two are actually first round picks, so it's not like there's going to be probably anything new you're going to find out, but maybe you can get a little bit hyped from this video because how good they're going to be. And I think later next week I'll be doing the same style of video, but I'm going to highlight 10 players that were, you know, day 2, day 3 undrafted free agents that are going to be incredibly overpowered rookies. So if you want to stay tuned for that video and you're not already subscribed to all that, you know, gimmicky YouTuber stuff, please do so. So without further ado, I want to try to start by highlighting my top 10 overpowered rookies for Madden 20 with my favorite player in the draft class, and it's not Fletcher Cox, but he could emerge to be as good as Fletcher Cox someday, and that is Ed Oliver, the defensive tackle for the Buffalo Bills. As you can see by his rating, we kind of did a ratings predictions type video, and I gave him an 81. I feel like, you know, knowing that last year in Madden 19, 7 players get above an 80, I think Ed Oliver's an absolute lock for that this season just because of how freaky of an athlete it was. Didn't really test much at the combine. I think he did a 10-foot broad jump, which is ridiculous, but at his pro day, ran a 4.73 in the 40, 4.22 shuttle, which is ridiculous. So we gave him 82 speed, 87 acceleration, 86 strength, 80 tackling. You got 73 power, 86 finesse move. This guy also, because the stats, this is the easiest way to show you. His pursuit would also be very, very high. I mean, this is a player, you know, so many people ask C4, why do you have Ed Oliver as your #1 overall player? Some people like to think it was Nick Bosa or Quinnen Williams or Kyler Murray. I just kind of put it down to the fact that Ed Oliver was constantly going up against double and triple teams and was a tackle for loss machine, was the best player on that defense. He's the best player in college since he was a true freshman and took over the college football world by storm for Houston. So I feel like, you know, again, you got to keep your expectations for this list. There's probably not going to be anyone that's going to be a surprise for you for players, but we're going to try our best to, you know, for these overalls and stuff like that. It might not be exact because, you know, you technically, I guess you could go through all the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years of Madden and figure out what a certain statistic at the combine equals to a Madden grade. I've seen a lot of those. I've done this a lot. So I'm going to say this is going to be all within like the 95 percentile of where a player's rating is. So that being said, we start with Ed Oliver at number 10. Moving on to number 9. We're looking at big Dexter Lawrence from Clemson. At 6'4", 342 pounds at the combine, ran a 5.05 and he pulled up. There was a legitimate shot he could get in the sub 5s. You know, I don't know if I'm going to say Don Terry Poe levels, but I thought Dexter Lawrence probably could come 4.98, 4.97, somewhere in that territory. Also threw up 36 reps at the bench press, so we're going to give him a 78 overall. For speed, 75, agility, 69, awareness, 68. Strength will be 90. Tackle will be 82. He has good power, good finesse. That's pretty much the one knockout on him as a prospect, is that his pass rushing moves aren't the greatest right now, but I do think he has a very high ceiling to develop into a complete defensive tackle. If you look at this from a Giants standpoint, you know, you want a guy that could come in and replace Snacks Harrison, and I just feel like for Dexter Lawrence, he's going to be very, very good. He's very athletic, and you know, with that strength, how it's kind of a myth or unknown for the last couple of Maddens how strength really does affect gameplay. But if it is back in a big way in Madden 20, you're going to feel it with this elite burst and strength that a player like Dexter Lawrence at that size will be able to bring to you. Enough so that he is my number 9 overpowered rookie. Moving to player number 8, it is going to be Devin White, the linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think he's definitely an easy candidate to get one of those 80-plus overall. So I just gave him right in the head there with an 80 overall. At the combine, running 4.42 in the 40, 39.5-inch vertical. So we're going to give him 88 speed, 87 agility, 87 tackles, 77 block shed, 88 hit power, 79 play rec. Now, the strength, he also, because of that jumping, he's going to have almost 90s in the jumping as well. We definitely give him that 88 hit power. I think he's a big-time thumper, sideline-to-sideline type player. The only weakness for Devin White, I don't think his coverage stats should be rewarded higher than, like, you know, I think 75 should probably be the cap for zone, man, you know, high 60s, somewhere in that territory, because his coverage ability is definitely the weakness of his game, but I don't really think that's overly going to affect him. Like, he has, a guy like Levante David, who's been doing it for quite some time, that should be able to help out and mitigate that. And they can just maximize his strengths, which is, go get the ball. Find ball, see ball, kill whoever has the ball. That is what Devin White's strengths are. And I think for an 80-plus rookie player in Madden 20, he's going to be just as overpowered as, say, Roquan Smith and Tremaine Edmonds were in Madden 19. But staying on that linebacker tip, at number 7, we're going with Devin Bush, the linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Similarly to Devin White, I mean, these guys here were pretty much, shoulder to shoulder the whole way at the combine. Devin Bush put a 4.43 in the 40, 1/100th of a second slower than Devin White, but he did a little bit. He did a foot or an inch, whatever, an inch longer in the vertical. He put up 40.5. So I give him, I probably have 91 jumping. And jumping is important for linebackers. They don't show the stat there, but everyone knows super linebackers. These linebackers that are able just to jump up and swat your ball down. It's incredibly annoying. And I think Devin White and now Devin Bush, because you see that 5'11", you might be a little bit worried. Don't worry. He's going to be just making ridiculous super linebacker plays all over the field. I'm going to give him a 78. That could debatably be a 79. I don't necessarily agree with Devin Bush being into the 80s, but he should be pretty damn close. We gave him 88 speed, 89 agility, 84 tackles, 73 block shed, 80 hit power, 79 play rack. I mean, that block shed even debatably could be a little bit higher. He was a fairly effective blitzer at Michigan. But either way, just from a sideline to sideline standpoint, when you're talking about overpowered players, these are guys that have stats that, when in the hands of a user, can absolutely wreck games. And someone like Devin Bush, with that speed, with that jumping, is going to be all over the field for whomever is going to be controlling him. Going to player number 6. We actually are going to be here for a second because we got back-to-back for the Green Bay Packers. But at 6, we're starting with Rashan Gary, the defensive end drafted from Michigan, 77 overall. Now, that overall might be a tad bit even high if you're trying to judge it based upon his college production. But the combine, everyone thought he was going to go off. He went off. He put up, at 6'4", 277, 280 pounds, we'll round it up. He ran a 4.58 in the 40, 26 reps in the bench press, a 10-foot broad jump, 38-inch vertical. It's ridiculous. Those numbers for a man of that size are pretty goddamn scary. So we give him 86 speed, 80 agility, 83 strength, 80 tackles, 79 power, 74 finesse move, and the ceiling is going to be very high. He'll get a generous dev trait, and I feel like that scheme flexibility. You could, have him as a slightly undersized defensive tackle, kind of like maybe Grady Jarrett for the Atlanta Falcons, or you can keep him in a 3-4 scheme. I mean, you could even get, with that athletic ability, you probably could get a little crazy and have him as a 3-4 outside linebacker if you really wanted to, if you're going to be user and controlling him. So I think just because how versatile he is, how athletic Rashan Gary is going to be, he is going to be an incredibly overpowered rookie in Madden 20. And as I just stated, we're staying with the Green Bay Packers. At number 5, we have Darnell Savage Jr., the safety from Maryland. If you watched the channel at any point during my draft breakdowns and prospect and player breakdowns, you would have heard Darnell Savage's name up quite a bit, as he was, I'm pumping him up before. I just remember, like, NFL Network, the Draft Network, all these places had Darnell Savage as like a 4th-round pick. I was saying I didn't know if he's going to sneak into the 1st, but I've been a big-time believer that he has a 2nd-round talent, even though I was mocking him to the Eagles to me. 4th round, and then I eventually got him mocked to the Eagles in the 2nd round. And the Green Bay Packers traded up to get him in the 1st round because he had a scary good combine. 39.5-inch vertical, 4.36 in the 40. So I think he'll get a 76 overall just because, for the most part, I feel like Madden kind of goes with the consensus of draft analysts where, Darnell Savage was probably best projected as a 2nd-round pick. So maybe being viewed as a slight reach, 74 being the lowest that you will get for a 1st-round pick in Madden. I think 76 is fair. He'll probably get a quick dev trade as well, but he has 93 speed. We'll give him 94 acceleration, 90 agility, 70 zone, 76 tackle, 70 hit power. So for like a smaller safety that's sub 6 feet tall, his hit power is not great. He does like to tackle. I think 76 tackle is very, very nice for a guy that's this fast. And more so viewing this as a Packer franchise mode, the fact that you have Darnell Savage and Amos from a sideline to sideline ability, if you are one of those weird people that likes to use your safeties, good luck. You're going to be able to go anywhere on the field in an absolute instance with the speed and athleticism that you get with both Darnell Savage and Adrian Amos. Moving to OP rookie number 4, he actually somehow slipped into the 2nd round, even though in my opinion he was the consensus number 1 corner in this year's draft class, and that is Greedy Williams, formerly of LSU, now on the Cleveland Browns. And we're here just for one point, is height, weight, speed. He is 6'2". He ran a 4.37 in the 40. If you have a fast, long corner in Madden, 9 times out of 10, they are incredibly overpowered. And the Madden gameplay is still not exactly where you want it to be. A guy like Greedy Williams, who you're going to see as a 2nd-round pick, is just going to squat down. It doesn't matter who he's covering. Julio Jones, covered. AB covered. If you're looking for a matchup for speed and just for whatever reason these animations lock into the DB consistently swatting away your passes, Greedy Williams is going to be a nightmare in Madden 20. So we give him a 77 overall, which might be a tad bit high for a second-round pick. But the fact that I had him as an 80 in my old rosters, the fact that he slipped to the second round, I don't want to be too critical because I just think this is a mistake from the league. But I mean, debatably, if he is a second-round pick, I feel, Madden, usually the highest rating you will see for a good second rounder, which is usually what you see with players that were almost consensus first that somehow slipped, like we saw with Harold Landry last year stuff. You're getting probably 74, 75 would be the highest they go, but I'm just still getting a little high on Greedy Williams because that's my rosters. Over that 4.37, he's going to be 6'2" with 93 speed, 91 agility, 82 man, some pretty good zone. That's kind of the issue right now with Greedy Williams is the fact that the Cleveland Browns apparently run a lot of zone defense, and he's a primary man cover corner. But I do think he has some versatility to his game that he can make it work. But that is not the type of discussion we're having today. We're not talking about in real life. We're talking about Madden, and Greedy Williams, out of all the cornerbacks this year, debatably will be the most overpowered, at least until you guys see the next video where I talk about some of the draft sleepers that are going to be so cheesy to use in Madden. But at number 4, we have Greedy Williams here for our OP rookies. Moving on to number 3, we have Noah Fant, tight end, formerly of Iowa, now on the Denver Broncos, who we gave a 79 overall. At the combine, ran a 4.50 in the 40, 39.5-inch vertical, 10-foot 7-inch broad jump, a 6.81 3-cone. He absolutely went off as expected. He is a freak of nature, and I think, a lot of people are trying to draw comparisons to maybe say Evan Ingram of the Giants. Evan Ingram is still, in my opinion, very much a wide receiver that's playing tight end, whereas Noah Fant, you play at Iowa. Obviously he's not a blocker. He's not as refined of a blocker as, say, maybe George Kittle was a couple years ago or TJ Hawkins is, but he still can block. He has those fundamentals down packed because you have to do everything. You have to do the dirty work at Iowa. But from a speed standpoint, the fact that when you look at tight ends in Madden, from my opinion, a fast tight end is incredibly overpowered. Anytime we've used Noah Fant, which is roughly this player you're seeing right now, he went off in our rebuilds. We used him probably in 3 or 4 different rebuilds. He was uncoverable. So looking at his stats here, we got 88 speed, 83 agility, 74 medium rep running, 78 catching, 77 catching traffic. His run blocking will be probably in the mid-60s. It is what it is. His catching, sometimes he struggled with drops at Iowa, which I try to reflect in that catching, but it's the speed, his ability to get separation, how cheesy he's going to be when you put him up against linebackers across the middle of the field. He's going to be uncoverable at times if you like to utilize, tight end slants and stuff like that in your play calling. So get used to being frustrated whenever you come up against the Denver Broncos or whoever selects them in your fantasy franchises, because Noah Fant is going to be super, super annoying to go up against. Moving to OP rookie number 2. It's only number 2. He is the freakiest rookie, but I just feel like outside linebacker, stuff like that, you probably shouldn't put them at number 1 because to the Timmy No Fingers that just picks up the game, the casual, he's not really going to utilize, I don't think, an outside linebacker. But because he is such a freak, we have to put him still very high on our list at number 2. And that's Montez Sweat from Mississippi State, outside linebacker here for the Washington Redskins. 6'6", 260 pounds. You know what he did at the combine. I mean, I don't even go through the other stats. He was roughly, top 6, top 7 in all of the testing at defensive, the edge. But his 4.41 in the 40 at that size is absolutely terrifying. So we're getting him a 77 overall. Comes in with 87 speed, 83 agility, 81 tackles, 74 block shed, 80 hit power, 69 play record. Those are just the stats they show. But the fact that if you look at his tape at Mississippi State, he does a lot of the technical things that a lot of, highly athletic players don't do well. He can set an edge. We saw that at the Pro Bowl. He can affect the run. He has proven production. He's not just a workout warrior that has limited college production or only played for 1 year. He played at a very high level for the last 2 years in the SEC, starting for Mississippi State along with Jeffrey Simmons. So I think that this was an absolute home run pick here for the Washington Redskins. I think he will be a prime candidate. I'm gonna label him as the Sean Merriman of this year. I think you're gonna take a guy like Montez Sweat, who's 77 outside linebacker. You convert him to defensive end, you might get fringe 80 stats, and that might be the best spot for him if you're using him in a fantasy franchise or you try to find a way to trade him off the Washington Redskins. If I'm looking at Montez Sweat, I'm moving this guy to D-end, and I'm going to get 20, 25 sacks every single year just using him every down. And let's be honest, you already knew who number 1 is before you even click the video, and that's going to be DK Metcalf, the wide receiver for the Seattle Seahawks. Went late in the second round. Doesn't mean he's not going to go first in your hearts and in your Madden franchises. At 6'3", 230 pounds at the combine, ran a 4.33 in the 40, 40.5-inch vertical, 27 reps on the bench press. I think he's going to get a 74 overall. We probably will see a generous overall because, at the end of the day, Madden is a little bit marketing, and DK Metcalf has as much marketing behind him, as much hype behind him as you'll see in a player. We gave him 95 speed, 77 agility. His agility is not very good. Neither is his route running. The highest route running we gave him was 75 medium. I think he'll probably have, in the 70s for short, in the 70s for deep. He's just, his release is it's just going to be his speed and his release, or what I guess set, DK Metcalf apart from some of the other rookies, and what's going to make him truly overpowered. We have 80 catching, 87 spectacular catching, 91 jumping. His catch in traffic's also going to be fairly high. I think I gave him 84, 85 catch in traffic. Just throw it up. And, if we're looking at this from a Seattle Seahawks standpoint, the fact that you're going to be able to scramble consistently out of the pocket with Russell Wilson, it's going to be one of those things. Either, you're going to have guys that want to use their linebacker to make sure you're not scrambling with Russell Wilson, or they're going to have to find a way to just double mark up DK Metcalf, because you're going to have to try to find a way to stop two of these incredibly overpowered players. I already say right now, man, this is so many people want to think back to some of the most overpowered combinations in Madden history. And the one that this one kind of reminds me of in a way is like Michael Vick and Brian Finneran from Madden 04. For whatever reason, not whatever reason, Michael Vick was incredibly overpowered, but Finneran wasn't, a highly regarded player, wasn't technically sound. He was just good at a couple things: short route running, getting open, catching traffic. He's a glorified tight end playing wide receiver. I was unstoppable. I think to a different extent, you're going to have that here in Russell Wilson and DK Metcalf in Madden 20. Russell Wilson is a scrambling ability. He's going to be very overpowered. And then we get DK Metcalf. You're not going to have him run, intricate curls and anything like that. No, you're going to have him run slants and streaks. And he's going to be incredibly difficult, if not impossible, to stop, unless you maybe say have like a Greedy Williams, or you have a very established secondary. So yeah, you probably already knew who number one was going to be. And surprise, surprise, it is who you thought it is in DK Metcalf. So there you go, guys. Those are my predictions here for some of the more well-known overpowered rookies coming up in Madden 20. Now, personally, if I was looking for a video like this video is nice, but I want to see the guys that maybe I don't know about. Maybe guys that are mid-round, late-round, undrafted free agents that are going to be those guys that, most likely win the rosters. You get into free agency, or you get into, past the preseason, the roster cuts happen. That could be there in free agency that could really help your franchise. Well, just, this video had to get done, but I'm going to say probably the next coming days, you will see another video that will be titled OP Rookie Sleepers. And I guarantee, even if you don't really follow the draft, you probably only know 3 or 4 guys on that list. So make sure you stay tuned for that one. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. And if your first time stopping by and you want to see Madden 20 content when it comes out, but these Madden 20 previews in the time being, make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash the like button if you enjoyed. And until next time, it's C4 saying peace out.